Fancy managers, hello and welcome to FPL Addicts Game Week 34 preview show for the Fantasy Premier League 21-22 season. Today's show is powered by Esports Live and sponsored by Bonus Bank. As always, a big thank you to our sponsor Bonus Bank for supporting us and our community this season. Make sure you check out their details below in the caption on how to take advantage of Bookies promotions. It's free to set up and play. There's some great software on there full of all Bookies promotions. But if you want to go premium and take advantage of all these bonuses that these bookies offer, you can get 25% off on your first premium month with our discount code, which is FPL Addicts. It's also in the caption below on any platform that you're watching or listening on. But wherever you're watching or listening, I hope you're enjoying the content and enjoy today's show. But make sure you give it a like and a subscribe. And make sure you join in the comments below as well. And hopefully we can get some FPL banter over to you guys. But I'm joined by a total stranger today. He has come to collect his award. It's a bit like coming to the Oscars. He's going to get him up on stage now. Hopefully he doesn't hit me. But Ollie Walker-Peel, manager of the week, the last game week. It's been a while, mate. Congratulations, 95 points last week. Obviously, we're going to get into that across the pod. But how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm very well. I was just going to ask if you needed me to introduce myself. It's been a long time in between drinks. I'm good. Obviously buzzing with the manager of the week the other week, and I didn't have such a good week. The week just gone. I'm all good. Enjoying life still, and hopefully I can have a bit of a better game week next time around. And I promise I won't be slapping anybody.
Oh, very good, mate. We are streaming a bit earlier tonight, so we've got a few things going on. But Ollie's managed to jump on, which is great. The Guru should be along, and we'll also have a FPL Addicts Reedy, our UK correspondent, hopefully join us, all being well with the internet. He's going to join us live from London. He's actually on his way to the Fantasy Football Fest, which obviously we did the Australian version, which is the FPL Social early on in the year. And Reedy's on his way to the English one, which got postponed. I think it was around January or February time, and now happening today. So it's going to be good to see how excited he is. Hopefully he's not looking too rough. It is early in the morning there. He's just had a train ride to London from up north. But what we'll do, we'll get on. I've just put Ollie's name on the screen as well, just in case anyone forgot who he was. And anyone can find him on his FPL Addicts _OWP on Twitter. But yeah, guys, let's get into it. So we're going to look at some of the scores from last game week. It was at least it was a bit of a juicy week, really. But so plenty of goals here and there. Obviously, I'm just going to talk about United for a moment. This is it was a bit of a surprise win in a way, because I didn't expect anything going into this Norwich game. Obviously, United, we've just announced, Ten Hag as the manager, which is great news. And we saw, Ranić, his last kind of official game before he obviously goes upstairs or whatever, get the 3-2 win. So it was the double header. The second game, unfortunately, Ollie, was an absolute terrible and an absolute write-off, losing 4-0 to Liverpool. We knew going into that. So I thought we'd come away with at least 1 point. Well, maybe 1 point at best out of the double game week. But I'm happy that we took all three and Ronaldo got that high. What did you see in the Man United games?
I didn't. I mean, obviously, I thought that they were going to take all three against Norwich, and obviously Ronaldo, 17 points for the first game, just unbelievable. Obviously, we know what's happened. Causing to miss the second game. It's so sad to see what's happened there. Obviously, you've got to send your best wishes to Ronaldo. It's so sad to see what's happened, after that Norwich game. But in terms of on the pitch, he did so well against Norwich. You've got to be going into a game against Norwich at home, whoever you are, and expecting 3 points. So I can understand.
Mate. We have done great against types of Watford this year, have we? Burnley.
I wouldn't share it, but Norwich at home, you want 3 points. But that Liverpool game, you were always going to get hammered. And that's how it proved. And to be fair, as bad as United were, Liverpool and City this season are just a class above anybody in the league, I reckon. Obviously, they've got goals everywhere. You see them, Salah with a double, Mane, Luis Diaz obviously coming in January. As you do. Just sign players in January. You've already got Jota, but for Liverpool, that's not enough. They sign someone else, and he goes and scores. The one game I did watch and want to speak a little bit about, the game that I probably watched most of is probably Tottenham-Brighton to start of the game week. Awful. Tottenham were awful. I had that game on just on the side, and I've sort of watched the last 15 minutes quite intently, and obviously Trossard got the winner. It was just awful. Tottenham were just awful. I had a triple Tottenham, and obviously it didn't start my game week off too well, having that triple Tottenham, and obviously neither of them contributed. But great win for Brighton. Obviously they've done Arsenal and they've now done Tottenham, so North London's blue and white at the moment. But yeah, great win for Brighton. They've had a decent season, and obviously work to do for Tottenham.
Yeah, and it's similar to yourself, mate. The triple up with Spurs assets, which a lot of people have done, expecting a lot more going into that one. I think me and the Guru both got fooled into playing the captain shout on him, of course, because he's been in great form, obviously. But yeah, Son didn't deliver, came quiet, and yeah, really annoying, really. Big shout out to PSB for joining us. Yeah, great to have you in there, mate, and let us know how you've gone this game week. But yeah, elsewhere, what else did we touch on? Oh, the Trossard goal. Like, I was looking at him like, do you know, obviously just looking at your team and you're thinking, oh, he'd actually fit quite nicely in there, Trossard. But it's such a competitive midfield now, isn't it? With all the assets to pick from. It's so hard to get someone like him in and sacrifice the midfield. I've been playing a lot of 5-man midfields in my team recently. But yeah, I mean, Trossard, is he one to keep an eye on, or do you think that's the end of Brighton now, or what do you think?
No, I don't think it's the end of Brighton. I think if you're going to go with the Brighton assets, Trossard's probably one to go for. Obviously, he's a good player, Trossard. I quite like him. But I think the trio of Arsenal players in midfield at a similar price are probably more attractive options. You look at Ødegaard, you look at Saka, you look at Smith Rowe. I think all three of them are quality. If you want to obviously bypass one or more of those to go with Trossard, I can see it. But they'd be the sort of the four at that price. I might be missing somebody. Obviously Kulusevski if you don't already have it. But I've gone with the Arsenal route. I've gone with I've got at the moment Saka and Ødegaard. I was close to actually captaining Ødegaard over Kane because he obviously had the double. They did really well in the second game. Obviously Arsenal, obviously not so well in the first, but I've gone with the Arsenal way. And if you want to go Trossard, I think he's the best one for me in terms of attacking assets. And obviously Brighton, you've got the defensive assets as well. You've got all your defenders, you've got your Cucureas and the like you can also go with. So in terms of attacking, I'd go with Trossard and probably nowhere else, but there's obviously good value in the defence for Brighton, I think, as well.
Yeah, brilliant. And speaking of Arsenal, obviously what a massive surprise this result was. Chelsea versus Arsenal. Chelsea at home lost 4-2 to Arsenal. The likes of a couple of the players that you just mentioned, then Smith Rowe, Saka getting amongst it, assist from Ødegaard, but the big surprise, and Nketiah, my apologies, Nketiah scoring a double in there. Massive surprise from him, and obviously, someone to have maybe on your radar. And what about the result?
Yeah, Nketiah is a good player, but he just never has had the run of the green. He's never obviously played because obviously you got the likes.
Minutes, has he? Yeah.
Aubameyang was in front of him last season, Lacazette this season. If he was at any club outside the top six, he'd do unbelievable things. Like he'd be scoring probably double-figure goals, I reckon. He's a good player, Nketiah. Obviously, he had a loan spell. I think was it Leeds? He had a loan spell that didn't quite work out a little while back. But I think if he got minutes under his belt, he'd be a top player. So good to see him get a couple of goals. And the celebration, I can't remember if it was his first or his second, but when he put his arm just like on the corner flag and just accepted all the abuse from all the Chelsea fans and just like bring it on. I was like, go on, lad. Well played. Obviously, it's nice to see Saka score.
Did he put his fingers in?
No, it was more like that. He had his arm resting on the corner flag, and all the Chelsea fans were hurling abuse at him, and he just didn't care. It was nice to see Saka score a penalty.
It was a fun one, that was it.
Would have been good to see him score a penalty a few months earlier, but fair play that he's atoned for his error in the final of the Euros. And Smith Rowe is just a quality player. Look, Arsenal in a few years, I reckon, will be a good side once you've got Nketiah coming through. Smith Rowe, Ødegaard, all these players are still young. I think we forget how young Ødegaard actually is. Because he's been around for ages, he's still early 20s.
Early 20s, but he's obviously improving into kind of international stage as well now, isn't he? And he's, like you say, he's been around for a long time. I mean, he did well when he on loan in Spain, didn't he? But he's coming really well at Arsenal. But yeah, definitely a shock result for that one. 6 goals in that game. I think it was 2-2 after 30 minutes or so, 31, 32 minutes. Goals galore, great for assets. Oh, man, I had a Saka in there. But yeah, big surprise. And also to mention, obviously, we spoke a lot about Burnley last week, mate. So let's have a look at Burnley.
Go back a second. I just want to go back to Chelsea just one quick minute. I just want to have a look at Timo Werner, because if you have a look at Chelsea in the next 3 game weeks, they've got 2 doubles in that time. So they've got a double, then a single, and a double. So he's one that, to spoil one of my transfers, he's one that I've brought in just for that.
Couldn't resist, could you? You couldn't resist unloading already, yeah? Give a little taster for everything.
I couldn't get to. I wanted Mason Mount, couldn't get to him, but I think Chelsea going forward are going to be good because of their fixture run. Obviously, 5 fixtures in the next 3 game weeks. I think if you're going to go anywhere, I'd go to Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, definitely a good shout, and I'm sure we're going to reiterate that a couple more times over the pod. But going over just back to your favourite team, Burnley in the Premier League. Obviously, it looks as though the fortunes have kind of switched around now, and they're a 2-0 win at home at Southampton. Do you think Burnley can stay up?
I think they can. I don't think they will. I think Everton will have a bit too much, and I'm not just saying that as a Blackburn fan.
For sure,
I'm not. I think Everton have got too good a team to go down. It's a big win for Burnley. They needed it. I've been on a podcast since obviously Sean Dyche has been sacked, and I've said as much as I hate Burnley as a football club, you've got to respect the job that Sean Dyche did. And I don't know what they're doing sacking him. I don't know what they're doing sacking him. But to be fair, second game without him, because his first was against West Ham. Obviously, Michael Jackson came in. Yeah, his name's actually Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
so there you go.
Blackpool, yeah.
Thriller of a game.
There we go.
Obviously, a point away at West Ham. They probably should have had all 3 with a missed penalty. Then they got 3, obviously, at home against Southampton. Massive result for them. Of course, they can stay up, but I think Everton might just have a bit too much.
Yeah, and some of those owners who've kept hold of Brownhill all season, obviously he's cheap as chips in there. I think he's around 4.4, 4.5 kind of midfield price. He got himself 2 assists there. So if he did manage to make it on the pitch, you've reaped the rewards finally for Brownhill. I know he's had maybe 2 good appearances this season. But finally, Man City on absolute fire, 3-0 against Brighton. Brighton in their second game of the week couldn't do it against away from home against City. But Mahrez, Bernardo back on the score sheet. Foden, who looks like a great asset to own. He's been playing a lot of football in the Premier League recently. And obviously De Bruyne and Mahrez on the assists. Man City assets going into this game week as well. How can you stay away from them?
Yeah, Phil Foden is going to be a good FPL asset. He is now, and the scary thing is he'll probably be a good FPL asset in the next 15 years, provided he stays in the Premier League and doesn't go elsewhere. I don't know why he would, but if he wanted to go to an overseas league, I don't know, maybe in the top 5. But as long as he stays in the league, Phil Foden will be a good asset for the next 15 years, and that's what's scary. Like, he's a young player arriving on the scene. Well, more than arriving, he's arrived definitely, but he's a player that we're going to get to watch grow and do so much. He's been brilliant for City at the moment. Obviously, got himself a goal. They're another one like Liverpool. They've just got an embarrassment of riches. You look at Mahrez, you look at Sterling, Bernardo Silva, Foden, Gabriel Jesus. They're just quality. De Bruyne. They're absolutely quality in the attacking areas and in defence too. But there's a lot of assets to go for the last few game weeks of the season for sure. I think Foden might be the one for me if I was to go with one. If I had to pick one, I'd probably go Foden. But Mahrez, I think, is another good shout possibly as well.
Yeah, nice. And just before we move on from the results, the recap, got to mention the guy who's on. I did this for Elliot Craig, of course, who's our, you generally on here on the host. He's been off for a while, similar to Ollie, but he's the token Newcastle fan that we've got on the podcast, and I'm sure he's delighted with this victory. But Bruno Guimaraes, did I get that right, Ollie?
I don't think so, but I don't speak Brazilian. I don't speak Portuguese either.
It's a good attempt, I reckon.
I think it's Guimaraes. I think
Guimaraes. There we go, even with a bit of a flick of the accent. So he's obviously he got himself 2 goals in that game. I think someone captained him. I think it was like Az from Fantasy Football Scout captained him, brought him in, which is a hell of a shout, and what a result that was for him and getting on that one. And I think he got the assist in that second game. Yeah, that's correct as well. So, I'm pretty sure he's around 4.9, cheap midfielder, but hey.
I think that assist. I always quote whenever there's a cheap assist. Like if I'm playing Pro Clubs or anything, there's a cheap assist. I always quote the one from Tom Carroll to Gareth Bale against West Ham, where he just lays it off to him at the side.
Yeah,
and Gareth Bale does all the work. That's another one. That's another one. Almiron, the amount that he ran for that goal, he was inside. Started his run inside his own half, sprinted down pretty much the inside right, or just inside the right hand touchline. Sprinted down, cut inside, and just rifled it far post. Such a good goal. It's one of the best, probably one of the best this year in the season. Probably it's a great goal from Almiron and Bruno. Probably the best Bruno in the league.
Stay away, son. Stay away, son.
On form. I think he'd be the one if you're looking to get a Bruno into your team. You're going for Guimaraes rather than Fernandes, I reckon.
Guimaraes, I like it, but that kind of concludes the obviously what happened in game week 33, and how did that affect our league, our mini leagues? Over to the free mini. Billy Brannigan is on absolute fire. He has topped our free mini competition. He's gone to 362 overall, 78 points for this week, and now gone to 2,344 points. Absolutely insane. He kept with Salah, kept his faith with him. This guy, I'm just going to jump into his team because I just want to show his game week history. And he's been smashing a lot of green arrows, only 2 red arrows in the last, 8 weeks. He's made some big progress. He was around 2 to 3K during the game weeks 22 to 27. And then he's just made a massive push since game week 28, gone from 1,300 all the way down to 362. Absolutely unreal stuff from him. And he's looking really good after hitting that 78 points. Chama gone down to second. FPL Planner staying in third. So that kind of the top 3 looking really good. And they're both, all 3 of them are in the top 2K. But Chama still in the mix with 436 overall ranking. Those rankings are insane, aren't they, Ollie?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's harsh on Chama because he's in the top 500 in the world. And still can't
in
even...
the world. Yeah.
Look, doesn't that show how good our free mini is? Like, we started this in lockdown as the 4 of us on the podcast, and it's grown to something quite brilliant. And the fact that we've got, I think, a top 4 inside the top 2K, like, that's just mental. Like, the top 4, outside of Billy, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, which obviously you've got Chama, you've got TN, and you've got, I think, there's that 9th and 4th. Like, they can count themselves extremely unlucky that they're not topping our league, but fair play to Billy. Staved off all challenges so far, but of course the job's not done. He's got a few more games to go, but he'll, obviously give himself a huge chance to win the league. Yeah,
absolutely insane stuff. And over to another extremely competitive league is our FPL Addicts Paid Mini. So these guys have all entered the competition to win some cash prizes and rewards this season. And someone who's just made a massive move and exchanged places in the top. I think he was 3rd last week, and he's got up to 1st place. Is Jordy Wilson. Iwobi 1, Kenobi 0. 108 points he hauled this week. Absolutely unreal stuff. Taking him to 3.6k overall in the world. And like I said, he's jumped three places into 1st place. He captained Cristiano. What a shout that was. So unreal stuff. Steve Wallace dropped down to 2nd. He spent 1 week in that top position. Kieran King down to 3rd. And Donald down to 4th. And Donald's still just hitting those lower numbers again. 47 points. Not great from Donald. He needs to find a bit of form from somewhere to catch back up. But that now in the top, top 4, I'm counting 60 points difference. So still very much all to play for him there, Ollie.
Yeah, it is. And I know we say it every single week. It's like FPL Addicts bingo, isn't it? Like, we just say, everyone in the free mini should have entered the paid mini. All of that top 4 would be topping our paid mini if they'd have entered. All the top 4 in the free mini would be topping the paid if they'd have entered. So it's just mental. It's just absurd at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And obviously, with Jordy Wilson holding the 108 points, he is our manager of game week 33. So, Ollie, you can pass the baton on to Jordy.
Yeah, if I had a trophy, I would do. But But look, he's clearly a better manager than me. How I held on to that trophy for even a game week is just daylight robbery. But Geordie, again, he's top quality, isn't he? He just knows what he's doing. Just bring his team up, Jack. Why not? Just put his team up. Let him embellish in his glory. Look at this, 108 points. Let him bask in the glory. He's got Weghorst up top. I've just lost all respect for him. But no, like what a team that is. On a real note, what a team. Saka in midfield, Salah. If you'd imagine if you captain Salah, he's even better off. But you can't go wrong with Ronaldo with the hat trick. Just again across all lines, he's got an incredible team, and he's definitely a shout to win the paid mini, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously he's got Weghorst in there. So on last week's podcast, mate, I actually got rid of Weghorst for Wood. So
good decision.
I've had enough of Weghorst. He's done nothing for me. I'm going to bring Wood back in. I think I said Ollie Walker-Peters would love this. I've been bringing him back in. He cursed me for the first 10 weeks of the podcast, and I brought him back in. He cursed me again.
Sometimes it's just unlucky. It's unlucky, isn't it? Like sometimes you can't win with things like that. But obviously he scored against West Ham. Did Weghorst in the first game that Burnley played in the game week. He's scored quite a few goals since he's come in January, so he's been a good asset for Burnley, and he may well keep him up.
Yeah, I think it was like I think he had one shot in 3 games or something. So I was like, he's gone for me. But anyway, up and at him. So over to the women's mini, we're going to check in with our female only league. So Karen Spence still top of the pops with 63 points, 2,191 overall, which is a massive score. That's nearly beat my score from last season. And then in second place, Marja, she's on 75. Great score in there, 2,138. And in the top 115k. Well done to her. And Thashi's pushed up to third place. The girls are absolutely killing it in there, both with Saka captains as well. So they benefited from that too. So nice work, ladies. And over to our podcast mini. But before we do that, we're just going to bring in our guest because he has arrived. And here he is, live from London. Christopher Reed, who is on his way to Fantasy Football Fest in London for the big meetup. Over 200 people are going there today. And Chris Reed has made the journey from up north, down south. Chris, did you get lost on the way?
I managed to make it safe and sound, Jack. So I'm here in one piece, mate. And as you can see probably behind me, I'm in the Somers Town Coffee House.
Is it in the Kelly Somers Town Coffee House?
Hey, that's not bad actually. That I don't know if it's spelt the same, but yeah, it's great to be here. I'm looking forward to it. It's obviously early doors. It doesn't start till later on, about 4:00. But yeah, it's great to see you guys, on the pod as well, especially you, Ollie, mate. You've been a man in demand, especially in the commentary world these days, and so on. So it's great to see you, mate.
Yeah, it's good to be back, mate. Good to see you as well, and hopefully you stay in one piece for the duration of the day. But should be
I can't promise anything, boys.
Should be a decent one. We'll have to see how it compares to the FPL social. We've got there's no Elliot Craig on the host panel there, though, is there? So you've got no Jackie G running the show. So they're going to have to do quite a bit to level up. But I'm sure it'll be a great event, and I'm looking forward to see how it turns out. In all seriousness.
Yeah, absolutely. We can't wait. And Chris is actually going to take over the FPL Addicts Pod Instagram. So if anyone who's listening out there watching live, you can see all the antics. He's going to be meeting and mingling with all the FPL other gurus out there in the UK. Obviously, so you can get on at FPL Addicts _podcast. Give us a follow on there and check in with the stories because Chris Reed is going to be smashing the beers while he's working the room, watching what's going on, meeting and greeting people. I can't wait to see what happens and what's in store. But you're gonna have a great time. But Reedy, have you got much? Do you know what's going to happen? What's the schedule is for today?
Yeah. Just on that note, I'm just gonna get me breakfast here from this wonderful lady that's accommodating me. So I'll have some brown sauce, please. That'd be wonderful. Listen, top class service in here. Listen, I'm on the Wi-Fi. They give me a nice little table. It's nice and quiet.
Got the best seat in the house.
I can't ask for much more, to be honest with you, boys. But the schedule for today, it's a case of just getting myself checked into the hotel later on. there's a FPL meet organised by FPL Nima, great guy in the community, organised all the FPL meets previously in London, and there's been quite a few of them, and he's basically organising like a pre-meet before FF Fest, so this is at 1 p.m. There's about 30 people there, maybe a bit more than that. And it's just for anyone who basically just wants to meet up, who's maybe feeling a little bit apprehensive, maybe nervous or whatever, help them settle in and so on. And then, we'll head over to Fest at 4 p.m. And obviously I'm not running it, so I don't know the schedule inside and out. But, it's a case of...
What can they expect today? What are you expecting?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. There's going to be... There's a bit of brown sauce here, boys. It's all going off. So there's going to be a quiz. There's going to be a bit of stand-up from Ed, I believe, who's organising it with Gianni. So we'll see how that one goes. That should be funny. I don't know whether it's going to be the right way or the wrong way. He's giving it a bit of comedy there. So we'll see how he goes with the stand-up. Kelly Summers and Jules Breach is going to be... presenting it or hosting it. So that's fantastic. Ali Brewster Ball, I don't know if he's going to make it. I know you know him, Jack, and from being on the Fantasy 606 podcast and so on. He might make it. Chris Sutton might be there. Who knows? But they've got things like that. I know there's sort of maybe a bit more of a quiz going on from FPL Juice. The guys over there who do a podcast, they're doing a bit of a you're going to name a player within basically the fastest questions. There's just plenty going to be going on. There's obviously drinks as well going to be flowing, and there's going to be just basically everyone getting together and putting faces to names. So that's all I know. You can't get much more from me.
That's
than
a
that,
lot.
really.
Listen, that is a lot of stuff going on, and it sounds so exciting. And what a way to spend your Friday! And obviously meeting up with the fantasy community in the UK is absolutely brilliant. It's so big, and we're excited to see who you meet and who you chat to, and spread the word of FPL Addicts as well, mate. So cracking stuff, and we'll crack on with the pod. Feel free to dig into your breakfast and your juice while you're at it.
No beers yet. No beer. I was tempted.
No
They've got a great selection of beers here, boys. But I'm going to behave. I'm going to wait till meet the boys or meet everyone, boys and girls even, because communities, full of people who play FPL. Whether you're a guy or a girl or a lady, I should say, if I'm being posh. And everyone gets involved and plays FPL. So I'm staying off the beers for now, boys. I think it's sensible. What do you reckon, Al?
Good shout, I reckon. And I reckon, you're in London. That's the difference, according to, obviously, quoting Neil Warnock. So be as posh as you can, if you need to be. But I'm sure you'll be right, mate. I'm sure.
Brilliant. All right, so on with the pod. We're going to review our podcast mini, obviously from the panel, the FPL Addicts Panel. One guy who had a cracker of a week. If I just bring this up on screen now. Statman Dave, he came second in the FPL game week for our mini, for the FPL paid mini, with 88 points. I don't know if he's checking this team, but it looks good. He's got 2 on the bench.
Go back game week. Go back and see if he is checking it if you want.
Let's have a look. Yeah, let's have a look on here. I think he made a transfer actually, so he must have. He made 2 transfers this week, so yeah, he has. He's checked it. He's set up his team spot on. 88 points is hauled. Massive score, the highest in our podcast this week. Captain Mo Salah, he didn't have him at the start of the season. He missed out on a heap of points, but he's finally learned his lesson, and he's definitely on the right track. And even Dennis made the starting lineup for him to get those 8 points, with Saka hitting the 10 and Dubravka in goal after their double game week. Well done, Statman Dave. That is a cracker score, mate, and definitely picked you back up. And you're on the hunt around still about 100 points off me, thank goodness. I did all right this week too, but I did make 3 transfers. I took a -4, 76 points overall. I captained the wrong person. I put Son instead of Salah, but Son's on a heater, so you got you don't leave the table when you're on a heater, as they say. He did cracking in there. Cooley obviously a quieter week, but I was happy with Laporte coming in. Wood did absolutely nothing, as I was saying earlier. I took him out for Weghorst. Major error. Regret that one, of course. But I got hit by the Wood curse again. But Pope, after his clean sheet this morning. Nailed it. 10 points on there, so happy with that. And that was a nice little green arrow for me after 2 pretty above average but poor weeks. But going on to a better score again, second in our podcast mini, 84 points. Elliot Craig, no transfers made. Absolutely beautiful stuff, and he benefited from the Salah captain with the Foden with 10 points. Ollie, pretty jello of this team this week.
Yeah, I am. I spoke to him earlier about it the other day, and he, Captain Salah obviously missed out when, in the reverse fixture when Liverpool hammered United. That's not changed obviously because United are awful.
You're right.
He missed out the first time.
Well said, Ollie. Well said. I like you getting that in there just for Jack.
Yeah. Just because I can, but he didn't miss out the second time. Is my point. Obviously, he had a brilliant game against Salah, didn't he? So having the armband on him really propelled him up the ranks. Obviously, he took a huge green arrow off the back of that too, which is obviously great for him as we lose Reedy's vision for the moment. But no, he's had a great team. He's obviously gone with Dubravka in net as well. Obviously, he was buzzing with the Newcastle results across the week, and he's obviously buzzing with having Dubravka in net as well. So yeah, good week for him. It's a bit of a one-off though, isn't it? Realistically, he's had a bit of a poor season, Elliot, which is really since I've known him, it's only the second time he's had a bad season. The second time that, hopefully, fingers crossed, I get a better overall rank than him because he's usually better than me. He's a better manager traditionally, but he's had a good week. You'll have to see if it can continue, but hopefully he doesn't catch me. Yeah,
he set his team up pretty nicely now. It could have obviously been a bigger one had Maddison, started that first game perhaps, and he could have done the business. But 84 points, he'll be happy with that, like you said. But on to our UK correspondent, who's got a mouthful of his builder's breakfast or whatever he's got on there. So what I'll do is
play
these.
Jack,
Go on.
Say it right. A mouthful of sausage, mate. Listen,
I didn't want to say it.
We're not messing about here.
I changed my. As I hit my head on
no,
the...
go on. I don't want to derail it.
Right.
I don't want to distract you. Go on, mate, as you were.
But you're meant to be reviewing this, but Reedy's Renegades, I know he messed up a couple of transfers last week, and he's ended up playing his free hit, and he's come out with 63 points. He's made it just above the average, so I think he was a bit of a sweaty week for Reedy. But Reedy, do you want to talk us through how you messed up your team going into the game week first?
Yeah, that's one way to put it, Jack, and rightly so, mate. Those transfers that I made accidentally, taking out Coutinho or taking out Kulu for Son, and then moving out Kane for Wood, and I eventually then took Coutinho out for Mount. So I then kind of thought, should I just play my free hit? And in a nutshell, you always kind of compare your non-free hit team to your free hit team. And if I'd have just went with it and you left it, maybe use one transfer because I had 2 rolled over, I could have captained Salah and I would have ended up with about 80 odd, nearly 90 points. So it was a killer, absolute killer. I used my free hit. It could have went better, a lot better, especially Bruno Fernandes. Bowen was a kind of punt because I thought with West Ham playing Burnley, they'd probably stuff him, but wasn't the case. Why
can you put Bruno instead of Salah?
I really, really don't know, Jack. I really do not know. You know what, though? It was a swing and roundabout type of thing. It's happened this season in FPL. You've seen it. Some people, when they captained Bruno, he hit or he hauled. This time round, people have done that and captained Bruno and Ronaldo's, hauled. I've just gone and just picked the wrong player. Simple as that. I've put Bruno in with a double fixture. Thought he'd do well against Norwich. Wasn't involved at all, really. Ronaldo, obviously.
No Liverpool players in your midfield. Unbelievable.
Really, really bad. I mean, taking Salah out, it's just the one, isn't it? That's the one. I mean, I think it's because of Son and how good,
coverage.
Yeah, how good Son and Kane have been recently, and it really, really wasn't great. But you know what? Listen, 60 odd points. I take it and move on. I've still got a bench boost left, and we go with that. Really, it could have been better, boys. Could have been a lot better. Elliot Craig, by the way. I just want to mention that lad. He's been off it lately. I know Ollie won't like to hear this, but Ollie's been smashing it. But Elliot Craig, I told you he'd be back sooner or later, and he has been. He's absolutely killed it. So well done to the lad, especially Newcastle as well because they're flying. And yeah, another team who are flying that Ollie doesn't like is Burnley. But we'll say as the least about that is Pop. We won't say any more about that, Ollie, because I know that I know you really want them to go down, so
It's
that's a
because the
story.
bottom three. How are they flying?
They're flying, mate. Absolutely flying.
They're
Chris
penguin
Wood.
level flying.
Chris
They're
Wood
penguin
goes to
level.
Newcastle. Jay Rodriguez starts playing games. Looks an absolute demon up top.
Who you
I know
left
he's
on the
not-
bench also.
I did. That is correct. Weghorst can only hit the post from 2 yards out. Burnley are in dreamland at the moment, and I think if they carry on that momentum, Everton could, or even I think his Leeds might be quite close to that relegation. They could be out of there, and the other guys could be in real trouble. So Elliot Craig, I just want to give a shout out to him, as well as you, Ollie, because you've been doing amazing. Jack, you're still being average.
Have you finished yet? What? Have you finished saying your shout outs?
I need to get more sausage. I'll let you carry on.
What I was going to commend you on was your Bruno shout, that you had both Brunos in, and as Ollie alluded to just before you jumped on, the opposite, the wrong Bruno, you would say, actually fired this week. Obviously getting on the score sheet with his 2 goals and his assist and his double there. So well done bringing that Bruno in. I know you had the other Bruno as well, but he was obviously the
double Bruno and only one haul.
Double Bruno and one haul. Yeah.
One that you wouldn't expect, but yeah, thanks for that.
Right.
I appreciate it. That was the only good thing that I did right with me for you. So
all right, good work, mate. I'm just going to mute Reedy just for a minute while he carries on eating. But over to Mornington Rovers, last week's game week manager of the week, Ollie Walker-Peel, 59 points this week. Obviously not in Dreamland, below the average. And Ollie, how did you feel you went, mate?
I'm gutted because I had an awful 95th minute. I think it was something like 20 points that I lost in the 95th minute because I lost. No, in fact, no, it was less. It was 17 because I lost the double clean sheet from Leicester because James Justin didn't play. Because who was it who scored? Was it Vlasic? Was it who scored for Everton? Or somebody scored? Somebody scored for Everton. Can't remember.
It was that annoying striker called Richarlison.
Richarlison.
It was Richarlison. Right. So Richarlison.
He spoiled the party. Ollie, I had Schmeichel.
Yeah, Richarlison scores to wipe the double clean sheet from Leicester, and Alex Lacazette comes on for a 1 minute cameo. If he hadn't come on, I would have had Pontus Jansson's 10 points off the bench. So if both games had ended in the 94th minute, I'd have been flying. But because they didn't, I mean, it was a bit early for Everton, I'll be honest. But if they'd have ended in the 90th minute without stoppage time, I'd have been flying. But it's just one of them. Salah, obviously, if I'd have captained him, I'd have been good. So again, I'm not too disappointed because I'm just on the wrong side of fine margins. If I'm on the right side of the 50-50s, I'm probably 30 points better off, if not more. So it's a bit of a disappointing one, but you move forward. I'm doing a lot right at the moment. I'm happy. I've taken a lot of red arrows, but if I can get on the right side of the fine margins, I'll be doing a lot right.
No, you're doing very well in there. Obviously, 182k overall. Did leave 18 on the bench.
Yeah, I mean,
you're picking your bench well.
Yeah, I was going to say last week, if I hadn't won the cash prize, it's the wrong time to bench boost. But obviously, I won manager of the week because of my bench boost last week, so I can't really complain.
No, you've made the most of it, mate. So well done there. And we're moving on. First place in our FPL Addicts mini podcast is the Guru, the one and only Guru, sitting at 52k overall, 69 points for the week. He made these 2 transfers, no points hit on taken on there, which is great. But a small red arrow, I think he had overall. Going into his team, his Shaw move. He had the Newcastle triple up, which not many managers out there would have, but he went for the triple up and he did benefit there with Shaw and Dubravka, the back with Cancelo and Alexander-Arnold. He didn't have the Spurs triple up this week. He had the double. Kulu and Son, was obviously doing okay in there, but he did captain Son, so he didn't. He missed out on the Salah points. Cornet, he missed a penalty. Cornet, didn't he, for Burnley? So. West Ham. Yeah, he obviously got 3 points, so it could have gone either way for him. And then Chris Wood not doing much, and he left Richarlison on the bench, picking Broha instead of Richarlison. So Guru missed out on a few vital points in there. And yes, sitting at 52k. The Guru sends his apologies for not making it on. He was due to come on, but he just couldn't make it back from work in time. We are on an earlier stream if you are listening. And if you are listening, don't forget, please do give us a like on it. If you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe. And if you are listening on Apple, make sure you hit the subscribe on there just to make sure you get every podcast every week. We've been doing these every single week for the last 2 seasons now, as well as obviously the likes of Champions League and the Euros and the upcoming World Cup we can't wait for as well. So make sure you give us a bit of love on there and give us a follow. It really does help. And if you have got a moment, please leave us a quick testimonial, quick rating, a few words, and that really does help the podcast. But obviously, we're going to move on. No guru section this week, so we can't do that. We haven't got a guest on, but we have obviously got our UK correspondent on. He spoke a bit about what he's up to today. So we're just going to jump in and we're going to look at our teams for the week and what moves. Ollie, at the start of the podcast, we're going to start with you because you already kind of gave a bit of yours away, gave us a bit of a sneak peek. But what moves are you making this week, mate?
So I thought about only making the one transfer, and I've had a little bit of a nightmare this week. Because I had even money to go to Werner from Lacazette. So I did that. And just after I made the transfer to confirm it, I had 2 free transfers. Gelhardt rose and Cucho Hernandez from Watford dropped.
Oh.
So I've then made that move to go from Cucho to Gelhardt because I didn't see anyone under 5 million that I liked up top. So I went from Cucho to Gelhardt just because Cucho's out maybe for the rest of the season with the hamstring.
Yeah.
So I've decided to do that. I've lost 0.2 there because obviously one's fallen, one's risen, which is a bit of a shame. But they're the 2 transfers I'm making. I don't know what Nketiah's price is because maybe looking back in hindsight, I maybe should have gone with Nketiah. I don't know if I can afford him anyway. But I've gone to Gelhardt. But I think Timo Werner with the double in the next 3 game weeks, I think he might be a good asset to get.
Yeah, Nketiah's 5.4, mate.
Yeah, I couldn't have afforded him.
No, he's quite expensive, actually, surprisingly, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been 4.5 for ages, hasn't he? Coming into every single season, he's been 4.5. It seems like. I think he did he start 5 this year? Possibly. But I couldn't get him in, which is annoying. But I've gone to Gelhardt instead.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And obviously, how many Chelsea players does that give you then for the week? Just the one?
Give me one, yeah, which is annoying because I wanted to go to Mount or Havertz or anybody, but I couldn't get a midfielder in. The only defender that would have allowed me to get to Reece James was Diaz, but City's run's amazing.
Yeah, it's hard to move away. Has Diaz been playing much? Though?
I mean, you've got to keep him in for his run. I think even with that, you've just got to keep him in. So that's what I've decided to do. Hopefully I can get another Chelsea player in potentially before their second double, which is, I think, game week 36, isn't it? I think that's their second double. So hopefully I can get another one in before then.
Yeah, nice work. Was there anyone else that you've got your eye on heading into the next week or two, though?
Bruno Guimaraes probably is another one that I maybe should have gone with. I can probably move. I've got so many midfielders at that price. So if, I don't know, Kulusevski or Ødegaard has a bad run, I might be able to go to Guimaraes. I know Newcastle's run.
Do you think his run's over? Do you think his run's over and he's kind of been and gone now? Or?
Yeah, he's one that I'm looking at, but his runs might be coming to an end anyway because of Newcastle's bad run of fixtures, but I'll keep an eye on him anyway.
Yeah, nice work, mate. Well, they sound exciting from your end. Reedy, are you ready or do you want me to go?
No, go fire away, Jack. Go for it, mate. I'm eager to listen what you've got planned, mate. I'll wait. Go for it, buddy.
From my one, mate, I've taken a leaf out of your book, Reedy, out of the hit book. We call it, I guess.
Yes, go on, Jack. Go on. Why not? Have a bit of fun, mate. I'm
probably at that point where I just need to kind of let loose with the transfers, and I've opened the checkbook. I made a few transfers, taken a few hits, so I'm actually on a -8 at the minute. If I take another one, I'm going to have to free hit, I think. But
keywords there, Ollie, at the minute.
Well, it depends if there's any your bad team news, but it is a big weekend for me.
Retro Gillibrand here, Retro Gillibrand, aren't we here? Bloody game week 1 last season. We're going to Retro Jack.
This is it. We need to get these transfers up. So I have made a few moves now. I wanted Chelsea assets, of course, going into this one. Now they are leaking goals, but attacking threat, you've got to get these players in, haven't you? So I've gone Alonso at the back. So I've taken Ben White out. I've upgraded to Alonso. He obviously got the double in there. I feel like against West Ham and United, they can do some damage, and he might actually fire away on a few games. I also wanted Mason Mount in there, so I've got rid of Saka. Like, I know Saka's in decent, like he scored in that last game. Reedy's pulling his face, but
Mike help him.
No.
Well, that one, Jack.
Well, listen, Mark Applin loves his Arsenal, doesn't he? So I don't love Arsenal. Saka, I've had him. He's done well for me. Ben White has done great for me. So I saw them, those Arsenal players off. I'm hoping for a 0-0 against United, of course. So I'm hoping none of them do well. I managed to get Mason Mount in there. But to do that, I had to get rid of, obviously, Chris Wood. So I've got rid of Chris Wood as well. He spent 1 week in the team, performed horrendously after screwing me over with Weghorst. And so I've brought Greenwood in from Leeds, obviously not from Manchester Prison. So that is the team. 3 transfers, a -8. Yeah, a -8. So I only had 1 transfer. I like it. So I'll actually just bring up my team real quick because then you can actually see what that looks like.
So what you're basically saying, Jack, is that you expect Chelsea to, with the obviously the double fixtures, but you expect them to beat United.
I'm expecting them to beat United, yeah, or score.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Just one of those, isn't it?
Yeah, go on.
I'm just going to say some people have a bit of what you call team bias in FPL, and it's clear to see that you've betrayed your beloved Manchester United long ago, my friend, and you're thinking it's going to be possibly another 4-0 from Chelsea.
Listen, as long as a couple of goals go in, it could be a 3-3 thriller. Do you know what I mean? As long as Alonso assists or scores and Mount gets amongst it, then it's not too bad, is it?
Yeah. In all honesty, though, mate, I think your team's absolutely set up fantastically. Yeah. I love the fact that you've got, your Spurs assets still. You've still got Liverpool, Salah and Jota. That's great. You've obviously got your double City defence with their fixture running, which is looking really, really easy. Wouldn't surprise me if they have the League One, and win all those games. You just expect it. Nick Pope's solid. He showed that last night. And you've got Trent, who's capable of assisting or even grabbing a goal at any point. So the only thing in there is obviously Brozier, but with the moves that you've made, that's fair enough. You can see why he's there. So I like it. But what do you think? What do you think, Ollie?
I don't mind it. I like the Chelsea shouts.
Hard to please this guy.
Yeah, I know. I do like it. I like the Mason Mount shout. I'm slightly jealous of that because I've not got him in myself. You're a bit contradictory by saying that Chelsea are leaky at the back and you've gone with Alonso. So he's a bit,
It's the attacking return. I know, but it's the attacking returns I'm going for.
Yeah,
and they could bounce back, couldn't they, as well? And get they could have 2 clean sheets. United aren't great, as we know, or unpredictable.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. So Pope at the back, Alexander-Arnold, Cancelo, Laporte, Alonso, Kulusevski, Son, Salah, Jota, Mount, and Broa up top. So I'm into that. I've spent big money, so hopefully I'm gonna, reap the rewards. So that is my team for game week 34. Christopher Reed, FPL Addicts Reedy. What have you got?
I moved mad, didn't I, boys? Not long after.
Making transfers on the train, weren't you? You were smashing transfers on the train.
No. Do you know what? I was nearly going to do it myself. I had to stop myself yesterday because.
Is everyone okay in the cafe? That sounded quite a big accident.
Yeah, someone's just fell over, but I think they're all right. No, they were just loaded up on ice, on ice, mate. But I made my 3 moves, and they were Mason Mount, Timo Pukki, and Luis Diaz.
Obviously, got brought back. I love the Pukki shout, by the way. I just couldn't get him in my team. I couldn't get him in.
What am I doing, boys? So, what am I doing? Ollie Walker-Peters looks sat there going, what is this guy playing at? Pukki's in there. Mount's in there.
Pukki against Newcastle's not a bad one.
Pukki's on fire.
He scores against Newcastle every time. I like it.
Well, if you look at strikers, what we've got available, it isn't great. Ronaldo obviously got his hat-trick, but he was playing Norwich. Kane, a bit quiet against Brighton, but he could come back with a bang. I've still kept him for the game against Brentford. But Mason Mount had to come in. Pukki are brought in for Lacazette, or lack of threat, as we now know him. And then you've got Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz for me is the one where I don't know what I was thinking, because I'm like, we all know that Liverpool have got Champions League to contend with. We've got FA Cup. Is he guaranteed to start against Everton? Yeah. It's like, well, people are thinking, Jota's going to play. I just feel like the run that Mane, Salah, and Diaz are in at the minute, the form they're hitting, can we afford to not play our best team? Who knows?
Playing against relegation candidates.
Yeah, but it's not like that. Sometimes they can be the tougher fixtures. They can be. And Everton have been, they scraped the 1-1 against Leicester. I know they're not great in defence or attack, but, for me, I think Klopp would be silly to kind of put his guard down. And, there's talks of Robbo getting rested for Simicast because we've got Champions League coming up. I can understand why maybe these sort of things are going to happen because of Champions League. But yeah, I brought Luis Diaz in. He's been unreal lately, and I'm hoping that he does get the start against Everton and carry on his great form. The one I was talking about, guys, that I was going to make that move, unfortunately, Antonio Rudiger has picked up a knock, hasn't he? So this news came after I'd made my transfers.
Wow.
So I was looking at a double, obviously double Chelsea and then double games that they've got. But with that not being the case, I really don't know. Do I just wait it out? Do I bring James in? And then I'd be on -12. What do you think, boys? Is it worth it or not? Or do I just sweat it out and hope Aït-Nouri plays for Wolves? With Livramento as well. He's not even guaranteed to start for Saints. So it's a bit of a shambles, my defence at the minute, fellas.
That is some predicament you're in. So just give us your back line again, Reedy. What have you got?
The back line is Doherty, who's out injured for the rest of the season, right? There is also Aït-Nouri, who basically, I don't know, is he going to play, is he not? Then you've got Livramento, same with him. You've got Kyle Walker-Peters and Perraud, who play at the back for Saints. And then you've also got Rudiger and Van Dijk. So it's a defence that I'm really needing to kind of shift about and move about. But at this moment in time, I don't know if I'm wanting to take a -12. That's the thing. Come on, Ollie Walker-Peel, give me some wisdom, mate. Give me some knowledge.
Yeah, go on, Ollie. What have you got, mate?
Right, let's see if I can sort out this shambles.
I mean, he's probably going to tell me the wrong thing because he doesn't want me to catch him. He's gone above me now. So
no, it's fine. It's fine. We're all on the same page. You say you had Perraud, right?
No,
Livramento.
No, I've got Livramento. That's the one.
Right, because I think he would have been useful. I'd almost go with Aït-Nouri. I think you've almost got to go with Aït-Nouri at the moment.
You've got Burnley as well, yeah.
Yeah, I think Aït-Nouri might be a decent shout because they'll probably keep a clean sheet against Burnley. I reckon. I don't think Burnley will score. I've got a good feeling about Wolves doing something.
Well, I think for me, it's a case of I'm gonna leave Van Dijk and Rudiger on the starting 11. That's gonna happen, isn't it? And then I'm gonna play Livramento or an Aït-Nouri, whichever it might be. Either one might not start, and it might be a case of one then comes in. Or both could come in. Both could come in because obviously there's a slot there for one of them, and then Rudiger's injured. And if he doesn't play, for me, I think with the Chelsea double, I didn't think about this literally until now, is that Rudiger may miss the West Ham game, which is probably likely,
second game.
but then be ready for the United game. So, I think making a transfer and taking him out could turn around and bite me. So I think I'm best leaving him in, aren't I, boys?
Yeah, you're best leaving him. Definitely.
I think you can do without there, mate, and hold that one.
Appreciate that.
Unless you want to make transfers elsewhere on the pitch and take that -12, what you're chasing.
No chance. I'm already down to 200 plus, boys. It's getting worse, I need to kind of. I had dreams of 100k, but that's long gone now. Let's be honest.
Them dreams are long gone, my man. Well, to be fair though, if you had a solid next 5 game weeks. You might, you get there. You're at 220 now. That's possible.
Yeah,
More likely to catch Ollie Walker-Peel though.
Yeah, that's the one. I think the Guru's he's wrapped it up, hasn't he, boys? Let's be honest. Yeah. The Guru's got it won pretty much, and he's got one chip left, I think. But if I can't do it, if I can't catch him, then obviously I'd really like yourself there. Ollie Walker-Peel to nab him right at the end. That'd be amazing. I'd love to see that. And then it'd be, like Spurs, it'd be trophyless, empty cabinet, just a stadium to just hold on to, you know what I mean?
Like he's used to. But now, obviously, right, captain shouts for this week. Boys, what are you thinking? Ollie, I'll go to you first. Who is going to be your captain for game week 34?
I should have done it last week and didn't. Mohamed Salah for me this week. Even with Timo Werner's double, who I brought in this week, I think Mohamed Salah's got to be the one. Obviously against Everton, local derby. Obviously against Everton earlier on in the season, he did well, so I'll back him to do the same.
Yeah, perfect. Reedy, are you on?
Oh, it's a toss of a coin, really, between Salah and Mount. It is literally 50-50. I brought Mount in for the reason that's because he doubles. He didn't deliver in the last game against Arsenal. Well, he got an assist, to be fair. But it really is because Salah's killed me off last game week with a free hit, taking him out. Would have got 38 points if he'd have captained him. Statman Dave will tell you that much because he went and did it. So that's it for me, boys. It's literally simple as that. I'm not going to bother looking at Kane.
That doesn't sound simple.
It doesn't sound a simple choice. Definitely not. 50-50s never are. But I'd rather it be 50-50 than 3-4 players, but be between that many. So I've got to go with this is the question, isn't it? It's head, heart. Which one do you do? So that's all I've got to debate for the rest of my game week, boys, until deadline. Are
you gonna work the room tonight, trying to find out who's captaining who and kind of go with the majority? Is that your plan?
Work the room. Oh, I like that. I like that sort of term that you're throwing about there, Jack. I don't know. I think basically I might just do a poll. It might be simpler, you know what I mean? Save me some time. But no, I'll get a few questions in there, see what people think of captain wise. I really do think that Salah is probably going to be the most popular choice, if I'm honest with you. We've got Everton. We've already mentioned that they're poor at the back and they're struggling. I don't know. He's just gone and bagged a couple of goals against United. So what do you think?
Fair enough. A couple of shout outs before we get on to my captain. The big guns are out tonight. Quentin from FPL Amateurs of Oz. Good to have you in here, mate. I hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good game week. He's got the same kind of conundrum in there as well. He's got Mount versus Salah versus Ronaldo for him and his team. A couple of big decisions to make. And over to Oz Spike as well, our Brighton fan. He obviously had a good start to 2 out of 3. They've won in the last 3 games, 2 out of 3, so he must be happy. He said, got to be a double game week from Mount with a chance of Salah rest. Whoa, that's one to think about. That's throwing some in the mix as well. I mean, I brought Mount in this week. Is it against FPL rules or the thinking of managers that if you bring in someone on a double, you have to captain them? Is that? Am I saying that? Am I correct in saying that?
I mean, it's not a rule, is it? But it's all
an unwritten rule.
I mean, it's all whatever works for your team. But I've brought in a double game week player and not captaining him, so I'll probably put the vice on Werner, but I'm going to go with Salah. And if he gets rested like what Spike's saying, then shame on Spike for manifesting that.
I think the problem you've always got is that with a double game week, we're naturally attracted to those players with them having 180 minutes to play. And what we've certainly noticed this season is more recently with the likes of James Maddison, they're not guaranteed to play both games the full 90. It is really, really difficult. With the rotation, especially with the likes of, I think there's a blender going on in the background. Apologies about that. So the coffee machine. But that's what I mean. Yeah, there's rotation. There's injuries. If Mount gets injured in this game against West Ham, he doesn't play United. So is Salah perma captain back? Is it? It's a tough call. It really is.
It is a tough call, and listen, I'm in that same scenario. Salah against Everton sounds great, but yeah, if the chance of getting rested, it's a tough one. But he scored 2 goals against them early on in the season. Great fixture for Mo Salah, but also a good double for Mason Mount. And I'll be keeping an eye on that poll if you do one, Reedy, to see if to try and pick mine. But listen, lads, there's not much time to go. Was there anything else you wanted to discuss on today's pod?
I don't think so. I just want to wish everyone going to the Fantasy Football Fest, including yourself, Reedy, all the best. Hopefully it goes well. I'm sure that it will. You've got really close there with Summers and Breach and the like. So hopefully everyone has a decent time down there. And best of luck to the Addicts Panel for the weekend.
Appreciate it all.
And like we said, Reedy will be taking over the Instagram this evening, FPL_Addicts Pod. You can follow us on there. He'll be giving out some stories. I'm now putting the pressure on him to do it, so he's on the spot.
Yeah, PG footage only. Don't worry.
Just go Mate, just do whatever's happening. Roll with it and see what happens. Everyone wants to see it. We love a bit of that over in Australia.
To be honest with you, you've got Ed doing his stand-up and whatnot. There might be some swear words in there, I'll try and keep it, as I say, make sure people are well-behaved if I can. And, you've got Gianni there as well with his absolutely amazing hair. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but, it's a thing of beauty. He's got that ponytail going on at the back. So I'll try and get him on the live or on a video or something like that. So I appreciate, boys. I'm not going to lie. I wish you were over here. Sorry, joining me. But one day I'm sure it will happen, whether I come to there or you guys come over. Yeah. So good luck. Well, I was going to say good luck in FPL as well. I'm forgetting that, aren't I? Hopefully you do bad, really.
Yeah, of course. But you'll have your moment in 4 weeks. 4 weeks tomorrow, Reedy. Me and you will be in Manchester live together, ready for the final game week of the Premier League season. So that'll be a good one that we can have a breakfast with together as well there, mate. But some of our fans on here, just before we go, Quentin, we want the uncut stuff from Reedy. Trust me, you do not want the uncut stuff from Reedy.
Careful now.
You do not want that. That is definitely not definitely not PG. But listen, guys, everyone, Ollie, Reedy, thank you for joining us on the Game Week 34 preview pod. It's been an absolute pleasure. Great to catch up with you both. I'm so happy we've managed to catch up with Reedy in the UK. And Ollie, great to have you back on the pod as well. Good luck in Game Week 34. May all your FPL dreams come true. There's only myself and the Guru left in the podcast menu who haven't won an award this season. So we are chasing that, as well as Statman Dave, of course. But we are chasing that, and hopefully this week is the week. But until next time, take care. May all your FPL dreams come true, and we'll see you next time.
Big sausage.